Hello everybody, welcome back to my lecture. I'm Halina. Today we are going to study acids, bases and salts. This title is translated as кислоти, основи і солі. Let me start by giving you some background information. In this lecture, I will explain to you about an acid-base reaction which is used to determine pH. Several theoretical frameworks provide alternative conceptions of the reaction mechanisms and their application in solving related problems. The video is about various concepts like Arrhenius, Bronsted, Lowry, and Lewis acid-base theories, explains distinguishing acid from base and base from alkali. Acid, base, and salt are the form of chemicals that play a vital role in chemistry and are also readily available in our daily life. The idea that some substances are acids whereas other are bases is almost as old as chemistry, and the terms acid, base, and salt occur very early in the writings of the medieval alchemists. Acids were probably the first of these to be recognized, apparently because of their sour taste. The English word acid, the French acid, the German Säure, and the Ukrainian kislota are all derived from words meaning sour, Latin acidus, German Säuer, Old Norse Söur. The first is hydrochloric acid or formula, an acid containing hydrogen and chlorine. The second, base sodium hydroxide, a chemical consisting of sodium, is a soft silver-white metal that is found naturally only in compounds such as salt and metal and a combination of oxygen and hydrogen. And the last one, sodium chloride, is common salt, a chemical made up of sodium and chlorine. Let me pass to the pronunciation and translation of nearby words with the same root pertaining to acid-base alkali and their matches. Word formulations, collocations. Therefore, acid, noun, adjective, кислота. Acidity, кислотність. Acidity is a characteristic property of acids, and it has three nouns: aciditation, acidification, and acidulation, підкислення, acidulant, підкислювач. Verbs: acidify, окислювати, acidulate, usually used with, підкислювати. There is a difference between acidify and acidulate. Acidify, to make acid, to convert into an acid, as to acidify sugar, for example. Acidulate, to make slightly acid or sour. For example, acidulated phosphate fluoride topical applications are effective in the prevention of dental caries. Acidic, acidifying, підкислюючий. Acidized, окислений, already or just acidized. Acidless, acid-free, negative, adjective, безкислотний. Acidly, adverb, is used is an unpleasant or critical way in general. For example, thanks for nothing, she said acidly. The same on the left part of the slide, you can study word families of base and alkali respectively. Основа луг вилужування, підвищення місту основи підлужування. Alkalinity – лужність, the state of being or containing an alkali. Alkaline, as an adjective, first meaning having the nature of an alkali, alkaline reaction. Second, containing alkali, alkaline soil. The key difference between these two terms is best explained in their definitions. Basicity is a measure that directly depends on the pH scale, the act of process or making something more basic, raising the pH of something. And alkalinity is how much acid is needed to lower the pH into a significant acid value. Definition: compare basify with other words, alkalify versus basify. Note: only water-soluble bases are alkalis, but there are bases which are not water-soluble. Hence, all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis. Thus, the parts of speech has just been studied. Now you can see plenty of matches from, for example, exercise 1, and you should memorize them. Common acids are firstly hydroacids containing hydrogen and nonmetal, oxyacids containing oxygen in addition to hydrogen and nonmetal. Each acid has chemical name and common name. Chemical name, hydrochloric acid, and common name, it is uriatic one, and it is probably the most dangerous to humans. Sulfuric acid, and the common name is vitriol, and also carboxylic acids such as acetic acid, acetic acid, formic acid, oxalic acid, maleic acid, and melitous acid, malitic acid. You may be thinking the acid is the alien blood in the popular movie is pretty far-fetched, but the truth is there's an acid that is even more corrosive. Antimonic acid is 20 quintillion times stronger than 100% sulfuric acid. This acid is stored in polytetrafluoroethylene containers. I'd like to expand on my slide these photos. It is the most hazardous acid. What is royal acid? Aquafortis, royal water, nitrohydrochloric acid is derived from ancient times. In 800 AD, which acid is the queen of acids? Nitric acid is the queen of acids because of high reactivity in nature. As we go ahead, we should distinguish the difference between acid and base. An acid is a chemical substance, usually a liquid, that contains hydrogen. According to Arrhenius' concept, acids are able to increase the hydrogen ion concentration in aqueous solutions. Acids usually have a bitter, sharp, sour taste. Bases. Turn red litmus paper blue while the blue litmus paper stays blue. Household bleach. According to Bronsted-Lowry theory, acids are substances that donate an hydrogen ion. Thus, acids are proton donors, or according to Lewis' concept, acids are electron pair acceptors. Base is a chemical substance, for example, an alkali, that can combine with an acid to form a salt. Alkali is a chemical substance that reacts with acids to form a salt and gives a solution with a pH of more than 7 when it is dissolved, mixed with a liquid and becoming part of it in water. They taste bitter and also feel soapy. Acids have a pH of less than 7 or show pH lower than 7 when they are aqueous solutions. Acids turn blue litmus paper into red. Litmus is used as an acid-base indicator. Litmus is a dye obtained from certain lichens. It's easy to make homemade pH paper test strips using cabbage juice or another natural pH indicator. What is pH? The number of the pH scale from a formula for the hydrogen ion concentration. The equation for pH is equal to the negative log of concentration of hydrogen plus ions. pH is used to describe how acidic or basic alkaline a liquid is. It is necessary to make further investigation of measuring acidic or basic substances. pH of 7 is neutral. At room temperature, pure water has a pH of 7. Soda has a pH of 3. Acidulants are also commonly used to achieve desired flavors in beverages. Major symptoms of acidifying water include decreasing pH and alkalinity and increased other minerals and trace metals. If your body is alkalized, you can improve your immunity. You can compare on the left side of the slide in the left corner, gastric acid in the stomach has a pH between 1 and 2, which makes it quite acidic, and drugs have 10. Very basic stomach acid's pH level can fluctuate from time to time. Absolutely acidic is battery. Keep in mind that battery acid can dissolve materials like metal and bone. Stomach acid, with its pH balance being only 1 or 2 spots higher, can also damage very strong materials like bones and teeth. How to measure pH? There are several ways to measure pH. In a lab, you'd use a pH meter for the most sensitive readings. Universal indicator is liquid mixture that displays a rainbow of colors. For home or university laboratories, pH paper test strips are a good option. For example, litmus paper. Solutions with higher concentrations of hydrogen ions have a lower value of pHs, and as we have just known, they are considered acidic. Solutions with higher concentrations of hydrogen ions have higher value of pHs and are considered basic. Acids furnish hydrogen, whereas bases furnish oxygen-hydrogen ions. pH of strong or concentrated is very low. pH of weak is about 3 to 5. Strong bases indicate a pH value closer to 14. Are highly reactive acids, dissociation constant is a higher value. Acid dissociation constant, also known as acidity constant or acid ionization constant, is a quantitative measure of the strength of an acid in solution. Acids react with bases to form salts in aqueous medium. Many substances or chemicals which we use in our daily life are actually bases such as drain cleaner, detergent, baking soda or baking powder, soaps, toothpaste, mouthwash, chewing gum, hair dye, pesticides, etc. This information is given in listening on the MISA. Relevant grammar is in English participle is a word formed from a verb. Ending in ing in the present participle or participle 1 or ed, third form of irregular verb, the past participle, or a non-finite form of the verb has verbal adjectival adverbial properties. There are four forms of participle 1. Participle 1, simple active and passive, express simultaneous action with predicate. Simple active acidifying substances, речовина, яка окислюється. Left attribute – той, що стоїть препозиції перед іменником. Simple passive liquid being acidified. Рідина окислена, або ж оскільки рідина окислюється, чи коли рідина окислюється. Being acidified – right attribute – постпозиція. Passive participle perfect active and passive express prior action. Having acidified the liquid, окисливши рідину, the pharmacist thoroughly mixed the solution. Фармацевт ретельно перемішав розчин. Find not what we seek. We find something as well worth seeking as what we missed, claimed Robert Boyle. Like many budding scientists for this time, Robert Boyle tried his hand at alchemy. Not surprisingly, he was unsuccessful in his attempts to discover the philosopher's stone. He described these attempts as chemistry. He said, "Well, I see I'm not designed to the finding of the philosopher's stone. I have been so unlucky I'm first attempts in chemistry." In the 17th century, the Irish writer and amateur chemist Robert Boyle first labeled substances as their acids or bases. He called bases alkalis. Roelle was an 18th century French chemist and apothecary who introduced the concept of a base into chemistry as a substance which reacts with an acid to form a salt. Soren Sorensen, in the 19th century, Danish chemist, introduced the concept of pH. As I said in the beginning, it is a convenient way of expressing acidity or basicity of a solution. Anyway, while Sorensen was working as the chemical director of Carlsberg Laboratories, the operations affiliated with the Carlsberg Brewery, he developed the logarithmic pH scale that measures the acidity or basicity to further the development of beer. Carlsberg notes that his pioneering research has had a profound effect on beer and science. Salts. Salt. Noun, verb, adjective. Salsify. Salsify. Isn't a verb like acidify? It's a noun, means a plant with a long root that is cooked and eaten as a vegetable. Not, don't mix up with salsify. Salsify. Salted fish, water. Sea salt, морська сіль. Kitchen salt, кухонна сіль. Table salt, столова сіль. Rock salt, кам'яна сіль. Borate salt, боратна і сіль борної кислоти. Acid salt, кислота. Alkaline salt, лужна сіль. Epsom salt, англійська сіль. Verb. First one. To salt something, to put salt on or in food. To salt something down, to preserve food with salt. To salt something, to put salt on roads, to melt ice or snow. Phrasal verbs. Salt away, to salt something away. To have something for the future secretly and usually dishonestly. Adjective. Salt water, salt beef. We should be aware that too much salt is really bad, but don't eliminate it completely from your diet. Despite recent studies arguing the potential dangers of a low salt diet and individual differences in salt sensitivity, the most established takeaway from existing research is that too much salt definitely increases blood pressure. Take the rest with a pinch of, well, salt has the property of absorbing moisture. Deliquescence. Salt, noun, a white substance that is added to food to make it taste better or to preserve it. Salt is obtained from mines and is also found in seawater. It is sometimes called common salt table to show that it is different from other chemical salts. Its chemical name is sodium chloride. Uh, it is countable, and in chemistry, a chemical formed from a metal and an acid. Binary, meaning two, salts are made up of two elements, a metal and any non-metal except oxygen. Since hydrogen is present as an essential component, binary acids are also called hydroacids. Their chemical names end in IDE, such as potassium chloride, when a compound is encountered with a metal that ends in IDE. Responders would know that it needs to be looked up to determine actual hazards. Ternary acids are often known as oxyacids. Mineral salts. Acid salt is a salt formed when the salt has the property of absorbing moisture. Deliquescence. As we have already known, acids and bases react with each other to produce salt and water. Such reaction is called neutralization. The universal solvent water has a dielectric constant of 80. Water makes difference. So, Crimea is ours. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to heroes. Thank you for being with me, and feedback is always welcome. My email halynatsaryk@gmail.com.